Telecom service provider Bharti Airtel has made the first move towards sustainable pricing by raising tariffs for its postpaid subscribers. At 50%, the hike is substantial in the enterprise segment, which accounts for about 60% of the company's postpaid users. Postpaid users comprise only 5% of the company's total subscriber base. However, being high ARPU users, they account for about 20% of the company's revenue. The tariff hike comes after Bharti Airtel chairman Sunil Mittal said earlier this month that the industry was under tremendous stress. He hoped the government would take measures to keep India's digital vision intact through the provision of at least 3 operators. Mittal had also acknowledged that telecom tariffs needed to go up and that Airtel would not hesitate in this regard. But he had been quick to add that it could not be done unilaterally. The past 5 years have been brutal for the sector. About 10 operators have gone out of business and 2 have merged. Most recently, the Supreme Court on Friday dismissed the applications filed by telecom majors seeking recalculation of the government's adjusted gross revenue demand on them. Earlier this month, Vodafone Idea CEO Ravinder Thakkar had also done some plain speaking. In an analyst call after the company's quarterly results, Thakkar had said that the main stumbling block to raising fresh capital from investors was telecom tariff. With competitive pressures ruling out a tariff hike, the debt-ridden telecom service providers' chances of survival have looked bleak for some time now. Keeping all this in mind, it appears that Bharti Airtel's latest move to hike tariffs is a signal that the broader sector is moving towards a more viable future.
Now, this obviously will not only help Bharti, but it will also help Vodafone, because Vodafone actually has the maximum number of postpaid customers, and it constitutes for around about 25% of their revenues. So obviously, assuming that they do the same, they will also have a increase in ARPU, and therefore they will have some increase in revenues. So that is basically, it is basically trying to get an increase without really going through any major disruption of tariffs. So I and yours and the prepaid guys, etc., and all that stuff. This actually, if you look at it, has been done primarily very carefully because it does not impact their biggest competitor, which is Reliance Jio. And that is because Reliance Jio essentially has around about 98% of their customers on prepaid. So they have very little postpaid customers. So therefore, until you make a change in prepaid, postpaid way, there is no impact on them because really the postpaid revenues for them is very, very small. It will be some 2-3%, and they just started it out. So it makes no difference to them. So so Bharti has actually, if you look at it, done it very carefully, not to disrupt the market. So this is just the beginning. One has to see whether the second phase of tariff hikes, which is in the prepaid, where Reliance Jio is at least 20% lower than them, will they have the guts to do that? Now, till now, they have publicly stated that they will not increase that price until Jio decides to increase the price. While Jio has said, why should I increase the price? Because any case I am lower. So therefore, if they increase the price, I will increase the price, but there will always be a gap of 20%. So that is why, because of this, none of the two have actually increased the price.
So, what does the future look like for major telecom companies in India?
Vodafone's future obviously won't make a difference by this change in price at all. That will depend on whether they are able to raise the 15,000 crores which they talked yesterday, whether they'll be able to get partners in, because today the Supreme Court has basically rejected their petition for a decrease in the dues that they have to pay to the government. So therefore, they are staring at around about something like they'll have a cash shortage of around about 25,000 crores in FY22. So where will that money come from? Because that's a large cash shortage. So they were hoping that if this gets reduced, they will be able to save some 4-5,000 from there, and then they'll get 15,000 crores. And if the government gives them some kind of that push back the AGR, I mean the spectrum payments that they make for another 2 years or 1 year, then they'll get some respite. But clearly, I mean, this tariff hike, even if they increase their price, will make really not much of a substantial.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.